It's getting picked up the way I want it to be picked up. I've got a feeling it may not. That's usually the case. So let me just go ahead and give that a quick test to see if it's picking up the way I want it to and if it's at the right levels. So let's just dive in. Picking up the way I want it to and if it's at the right levels. So yeah, okay. So that's at a decent enough level. Personally, it's not 100%, but it'll do for now. So let's just talk about what we're going to do today. So, any clue when a new update's coming out? No, to be honest. I'm just going to assume at this point it'll just be when the VR update comes out, and we'll get a bunch of stuff with that. Obviously, January's gone now. We didn't get an update. So, is what it is. Just happens. Morning. So, right, let me just tell you about today and kind of where I'm going with this stream. So, I did wake up with a full intention of doing a full stream, getting everything set up properly, and yeah, I still woke up feeling really, really rough. So, to be quite honest, I'm doing a bit of a lazier stream today. I'm just going to do it directly from the PlayStation, although it might not be as professional as I wanted it to be. In all honesty, I just woke up feeling far too rough to have the effort of getting everything set up. I'm going to assume that a lot of you will probably know that I've just been under the weather for a few weeks now. It's not shifting, so yeah, I'm just kind of low on energy. So I do apologise if I kind of, take a couple of seconds break or randomly go completely quiet. It's probably because I've gone into a bit of a coughing fit. As soon as I get over it, I'll unmute my mic and get talking again. So I do apologise if the stream quality isn't what I wanted it to be, or if it's not as professional as I wanted it to be. Yeah, so there is that. So in terms of the stream, I'm just going to just relax and probably do, try and break a few cars for Daily Race C, the one that seems to be causing a lot of controversy at the minute. And yeah, so hopefully there is that. I'm going to try and stream for possibly maybe an hour or two, just kind of see how I feel going through. Like I said, if I do take some kind of moments to pause, I do apologise. So there is that. So yeah, I'm going to attempt to break some cars for Daily Race C. As you can see, I'm currently working on a 180SX build for Daily Race C. We've currently got it down to 491 performance points, and hopefully we can kind of take it from there and get a solid build. I'm not really sure how this car's going to turn out. I've kind of started it on the basis of, building it off of the Sileighty that I had. So I've kind of copied over the suspension settings, and then we'll kind of fine tune it from there. We do have pretty much all the upgrades on this car. So yeah, it's putting out a decent amount of horsepower, right on the limit. The weight, again, pretty much where we want it to be, just over the limit. That's mainly to essentially cause the performance points to drop. If I don't have ballast on it, for some reason, it will just go back up to 600. But with kind of just a slight balance and a positioning all over the place, it does drop it really, quite far down. This way I can kind of, toy with the aero. So that's essentially what I'm going to be trying to do. I might try and get some races done, but I'm just kind of, working around trying to get some of these builds made up and, kind of seeing where they're at, see if there's anything that can beat that meta car, that Sileighty, because that thing seems to be running wild in daily races. I'm not sure if it's actually in the used car dealer yet, so that is the plan. Hopefully it goes to plan, and hopefully I don't have to, stop too many times. Okay, so in fact, I've just reminded myself I'm going to check the used car dealer to see if that car's actually gone in yet. So have they bothered to put the Sileighty in the used car dealer? They've got the K-Aero. The S14's in. No, they haven't. So for some reason, Polyphony has this thing of keeping the meta car out of the used car dealer, which I think's a little bit ridiculous at this point, because I think that's where a lot of the complaints come from. Like, okay, yes, the Sileighty is a bit of a handful. It's not necessarily the nicest car to drive, but it's very, very quick. So the fact that they're kind of keeping it out of the used car dealer, even 3 days into this week, is just a little bit strange. I think if they kind of put it in, at the end of the week, a lot of people are going to be rather frustrated at that point that all of a sudden it shows up and maybe we've only got a day left. The 2JZ S15. No, to be quite honest, I put my my only 2JZ engine in the BRZ somewhere. So let me just see if I can get this one, bro. To be quite honest, with the engine swaps, I was tempted to. There's the GTR engine one as well. I can't remember which car that goes in. But I honestly don't see too much of a point in putting an engine swap in and then completely nerfing it. Considering the sort of the maximum power, I couldn't really see the engine swaps being too useful for this one. They could be, but in all honesty, I'm not just going to put an engine swap in for the sake of it, especially if it's just going to then linger off of the pace. So I mean, in terms of sort of where we're at in terms of the daily race C and the Sileighty build that we've got, the quote unquote meta build for this week, I think I'm at like a 2 minutes 10.7, and I still felt like there was a lot of time to take off with that. In all honesty, I've wanted to get the wheel set up, but just because I'm just feeling just completely under the weather at the minute, I don't really want to take the time to fully set my wheel up and just have to go completely try hard mode. So I've just been kind of messing around with it on controller, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. So yeah, bit disappointed because I did want to get everything set up and have like a proper stream, because I knew I had a few hours spare today, and it's just not gone quite to plan. I'm just feeling too rough for that. But yeah, I can't necessarily see the engine swaps being too good. Maybe that's just my thinking, that they usually have more power, especially something like the GTR engine. They have a lot of power to begin with, so nerfing it into oblivion surely isn't a good thing. Surely it's better to build on a car with less horsepower, but that's just kind of my thinking anyway with it. So we're going to keep putting the aero up here till we basically hit the limit where it'll just jump. There we go. Okay, so we've got a limit there, look. So hit jump back up, play around with this one, jump back up, put that one up. So it's just a lot of back and forth with the aero, but you can essentially just build your aero up, and this allows you to get better grip while still running max power. To get it to work, you have to play around with the ballast originally, which is why I've just took it. So if you see here, look, I've took it slightly over the weight limit, and the position is like at a really high value, because it just seems to completely throw the performance points off. And then from there you can essentially play around with the aero. So there we go, we've got another jump. Was that on the rear? Was that on the front? There we go. So then we go back to the rear, 513, up 600. Keep playing around. So if my voice does sound strange, I do apologise. Like I said, I am under the weather. I'm trying to speak as clearly as I possibly can, but I probably just sound absolutely ridiculous, to be quite honest. So, ooh, 488. Nice one. Okay, then there's a big jump there. Okay, play around with that one. 600, back to 500, keep going. 490, 627, 490, 530. Yeah, okay, now we're just doing it at 1 point value by the look of it. Yeah, so we're only able to go up one by a single point. So we're probably going to reach the limit soon. Let's see if we can take it out now. So there is a limit to kind of how to build your aero up. Eventually you'll just get to the point where you cannot take it up anymore, which is frustrating. Yeah, throttle control in that Sileighty. Yeah, it's all in the throttle control, to be quite honest. I do find that you kind of sometimes have to short shift, but then you risk getting the power down. But sometimes it does help because you won't spin up the tyres, which is kind of where I'm losing a lot of time. Is sometimes I'll be just a bit too heavy on the throttle, and then we're kind of spinning up the rears, and then I have to short shift, and basically it'll just completely kill off the power. Okay, so let's just keep bringing this up. Keep swapping around. Okay, still at 500. Okay, we're able to get, at least we're able to get the aero warp. That looks like a limit. Anything going to change there? No. No, that looks like the limit in terms of the era, which isn't as good as I wanted to. Let's see if I can just play around with this and that'll drop it. No. Oh, there we go. Free ballast. Allows you to play around with more aero. Nice one. Okay, that's jumped. Oh, that's jumped again. Anything after that? Oh, it's going to drop. No. Okay, what was I at? I've completely forgot. No. There we go. Is that going to go up? No. What if I bring that down? No. It just goes to 600. Okay, so put that to 2, put that to 1. Okay, let's see if that does anything different. No. And no. Okay, so that looks like we've hit that limit and it's not gonna go any further. Oh no, there we go. Okay, so we're still able to get a bit more air out. That looks like a limit again. Where were we? That one? That one. There we go. Try that. 530. 600. 492. 512. Nope. 628. Play around with it again. 512. 628. 628. 628. Oh, 512. There we go. Got 2 more. It'll go down to 400. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty much just the way you get the extra era one. It's just playing around with it. To be quite honest, in terms of just breaking cars all the time, it's just pure luck. As frustrating as it is, it's about just kind of finding what causes a drop and then just playing around with everything to see if you can keep getting it to drop. So we're at 512 there. Oh no, there we go. Hey, there we go. We found the value for that one. No, no. Oh, what was I at? I forgot now. 60. There we go. This one? Nope. That one? Nope. 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 Okay. What if we play around with that? 512. Is that going to allow for any room? No. 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 Put that back 2. Put that front 2. Hey, 488. There we go. So it does seem to be in a pattern but random at the same time. It's just kind of playing about with the values to see if we can get anything to happen with a big drop. And I've lost my values again. Maybe should have concentrated on that one a bit more. Okay, so they're 488. Put it minus 45. That stays at 488. That puts it up. That puts it up. That still puts it up. Try that one. Let's try 2 ballast. Nope. Doesn't like that one. So that's at 488.82. If I try it that way now. Oh, that's gone up to 600 again. Minus 46. That looks like the most I'm going to get out of that, to be quite honest. Don't know if I'll get any more performance out of that thing. My gear ratios. Okay, this is what I want to copy the ones that I had on the Sileighty, wherever that thing is. There we go. Okay. So let me take a quick picture of that. That way I can just remember. And I'm going to see if those ratios work on the 180. So 2291. What does that give us? It gives us quite a high. What do I want to try? Try that. 141. 185. I'd be interested to see if this gearing does work on this car, the same as it does the Sileighty. Because I'm pretty sure they've got the same engine. I'm pretty sure they've pretty much got the same parts, haven't they? Might be wrong on that one. That's going to completely mess up the gears, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Should have done that one first. Don't know why I didn't. Just one of those days. Okay, so now let's try again. This might help. I don't know why I didn't think of going to the final first. Just my head is all over the place. So it's not surprising if I'm going to make so many little mess ups today. Just try and push these gears where I want them. It'd be interesting to see if it does carry over. So that's about 90. Okay, so the values are different, but hopefully... Well, we'll see if that works anyway. So it'll either work or it won't. Who knows? Yeah, sorry, I've only just seen that, just the final. Yeah, honestly, it's just one of those days. So, yeah, just so many small things. I mean, it's like even now, I've just completely forgot what I've come in here for. Brake controller, that was the one. Where is it? Nope. Okay, I've probably just gone past it 5 times over. Yes, I have. Alright, chat, just tell me where the brake controller is, because my mind... There we go. Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of them days, mate. Rough day. So let's put the... I'm going to try and put it to pretty much what I've got it at on the Sileighty. I think everything else is pretty much the same. So this is essentially what I'm testing, just to see if what I've got on the Sileighty will essentially just carry itself over onto the other cars. Because if that does, that's a decent... Like, okay, the Sileighty is a bit of a monster, to be quite honest. In fact, where are we on here? So we're 41st now. Ooh, it's 2:08. First 2:08. That's nice. Well done. Yeah, so it'll just be interesting to see if it is possible to get other cars that are viable. Because I think that's kind of the main issue at the minute. Like, if we just look here, oh, we've got an S13 up there. But it just seems to be like a Sileighty show in terms of like the real top times, which can be quite, you know, frustrating when, you know, obviously they've not even bothered to put it in the store. Hi, bye, Jody. Yeah, I mean, it's just a strange thing for them to do. Like, so they obviously go ahead and make the meta car. Maybe they didn't expect it to be the meta car, but the fact that they've surely seen at this point it is the meta car. Why is it not kind of, you know, available to buy for more people? Because I believe the Sileighty you can't win anywhere. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure you can't. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But yeah, as far as I know, you can't win it and you have to buy it. So it just seems like a bit of a mess up on their part that they've not, you know, we're 3 days into this race. People were complaining about it and they still haven't then gone and basically solved the issue of... so if the audio does go loud in a minute, I do apologise. I'm going to sort those levels out. So options, sound volume... So I'll just turn these down a little bit. Alright, so it's probably going to blast my ears off, so if, you know, everything just goes... Put it down to... So hopefully that isn't going to be as loud as I think it's going to be. It probably will be. And I probably should have done this bit before. So I'll take it down a little bit more, just to make sure. So let's see if this absolutely blows our ears off. Ooh, it's got that twitch of the other one. Okay, I don't know why this car, it feels similar to the Sileighty, but a lot more kind of like it wants to throw itself out of the rear. Maybe that's because I'm used to driving that Sileighty. It's just kind of crazy how even the slightest change in car, it's just a completely different experience. I mean, I'll give GT7 it's kind of fair dues in that sense, that jumping from one car to the other, it's can be a bit of a shock to the system, especially when you know you've got to play around with you know your sort of, you know, tuning settings and such. Because you get all the muscle memory of one car and then you do this to yourself. So more than likely I'll get used to this car, I'll end up going back in the Sileighty, and it'll be a bit of a bit more of a brute, and I'll probably not be used to that car anymore. So that's usually how it goes. Yeah, so that definitely wants to kick out more at the rear. In fact, a lot, especially through there. It almost feels like it's just kind of on ice at the rear, which so does the Sileighty at times, but never to that point. Like, there's just almost no feeling in the rear, whereas I feel like with the Sileighty, when it goes, you can kind of just bring it back in, whereas this one just has the feeling of it. You know, when it goes, you know, it's tough at that point. So let's see. it to, you know, get that muscle memory going, start getting a feel for the car. Felt better through there. See, I really wanted the S14 cars to be a lot better than they are this week, just because I really enjoy those cars. They almost feel like road-going touring cars, but they're just, from what I can see, they're just nowhere near competitive. I see a lot of people kind of putting maximum power through them and then not messing about with anything else, and you know, it buries itself in turn one. A lot more slidey out of there than I probably wanted it to be. The brakes feel good though, and in terms of its power delivery, maybe it's just the sense of speed with this car, but it doesn't feel as kind of brutish. It feels a lot smoother putting its power down, even though this has pretty much got the same kind of power set up as the Sileighty. It's just the suspension on this feels a little bit more kind of floaty, and it's mainly at the rear, and it seems to be with the aero. I feel like this thing needs a lot more aero to keep it in shape, but sadly, obviously if you were there at the start, you'd have known when I was putting the performance limits up that we kind of hit a brick wall, so that was much better through there. Okay, this car almost feels a lot better on the brakes as well. So overall, I'd say this is a pretty smooth car in comparison to the Sileighty. It doesn't feel as brutish, but just at the rear, it's just far too unpredictable. Yeah, so the brakes are definitely better. I feel like I could probably brake a lot later than the usual with the Sileighty. I feel like it'll stop much better. There we go. Hopefully I can find a bit of a glitch value where we can yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's just almost floating. Hopefully there's a glitch value where I can basically get that aero at the rear sorted, because I feel like if we did that, this would actually be a pretty decent car. I mean, the power delivery is not as brutish. It almost feels like a softer version of that Sileighty, but it just seems to be at the rear, as soon as you put your foot to the floor through certain corners, it just wants to go, and there's not really the moment to catch it, whereas with the Sileighty you can just, you know, kind of you feel like it really. So yeah, which car am I in at the minute? The 180. Just trying to test it out, see if there's any way at all to just get it to beat the, obviously, the meta car. The sideways action. Yeah, so let's just go ahead. Let's go ahead and see if we can get one of those extra little glitchy values with it. So let's have a look. Let's see. Okay, that gives us 490. Let's see if we can build on that. No. 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 Still still no. No, it looks like I've just hit the maximum, and I cannot remember where I was at. Maybe if we change that. Oh, no, that jumped it. 42. No. Nope. See if this one gives us a bit of room to play around. No, it doesn't. No. There's got to be another glitch value in here somewhere. Somewhere we can kind of bring that rear end back in, because I feel like this would be decent. It's not looking like it, is it? Oh, no. 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 Bring the front up a bit. See if anything clicks. Because if it doesn't, then it's probably just not the most viable car for me, to be quite honest. In fact, I don't think I used this car until I started playing around with it this morning. Which is never the best thing, to be quite honest. Can I not adjust the toe? No. So, toe angle doesn't do anything. So what I'm essentially doing at the minute is just trying to get a bit more aero on the car by finding those glitch values, because if we do, say, something like... okay, where was that? See if we can find a glitch value for this one. It's not that one, not that one, not that one. Basically, the aero has really glitchy values. So, what you essentially do is start at the bottom, work your way up, and you can kind of push the aero up bit by bit. So it was at that aero. We're further down than that, weren't we? Wait till the right in turns white. Okay, it just looks like we're just playing a numbers game at the minute. I mean, you can say it's more to do with the glitch tuning than good driving, but to be quite honest, to be able to drive the glitch tunes, yeah, you need at least a bit of skill. Not anyone can just jump into these fastest, glitchiest tunes and do well. And I think that's kind of where the problem is. I mean, it's all good, you know, yes, you kind of have to break the PP system, but a lot of these cars, especially the top ones, are just absolutely disgusting monsters. They're not the most drivable things at all. In fact, they're horrendous to drive, put it that way. Like the Sileighty, for example, is one of the most brutish cars I think I've driven in this game, but it's fast. So, you know, you can break cars all you like, you can, you know, glitch them out all you like, but in all honesty, you're not going to do well if you don't learn how to drive it. Like, you still just have to put the practice in. Let's take it back up to 50. Because I've got a feeling I'm going to have to start all the way again with this. Okay, was it at 117? There we go, okay. 488, so that's what we was at. And it appears that we just hit the brick wall, and we're not going to be able to get it under without some adjustments. See if that makes any difference. No. See, I'm pretty sure on the Sileighty. There we go. Oh no, it dropped. Doesn't want to plummet anymore. That ain't gonna want to drop. Okay, so yeah, I know it's in it. Okay, so now I'm just gonna have to change my tyres. So let's just put them on. Then it's gonna tell me I can't. Yeah, okay, so okay, now I've got to put it under to be able to get out of that menu, which is always fun. So let's just take the turbo off. That'll work. No, that didn't work. Take that off. Take that off. Okay, now I can get out of that menu. Yeah, so where is the Sileighty? Okay, let's see if that works. See if this build's any good still. In all honesty, I don't know if I'll continue to play around with it. I think I've just kind of played around with this one so much in the first couple of days that I'm almost sick of the sight of it. And to be honest, since I've driven that 180 just now, I've got a feeling it's going to be weird to get myself used to this one. It just feels like there's more weight to this car. I mean, I think there is. I think there's probably like an extra 30 kilogram, but it just seems to... it's almost weird. It feels kind of four-wheel drive. Just in the way this one's set up. It's still an obvious, you know, a massive brew, like most of these, you know, the faster cars are for this. And it's all in the throttle control, but this just instantly feels lighter, more manoeuvrable, just outright faster than the 180 SX we just tried. Much easier to catch this car. See, I hate this part of the track. Just that little clip there, if you do it just a touch too much on the inside, and bear in mind these cars are on edge all the time anyway, you're probably just going to throw yourself into the barrier, which is never fun. There goes the rear. Yeah, I knew we weren't going to make that perfectly. Okay, so I feel like I've kind of got the feeling back for that car, so hopefully it doesn't feel too bad, and we can get a decent result. Oh, JM's back. Nice one. Glad to see him again. I had a good few races with him the other day. So it will be... I mean, see, it's such a shame you've got stuff like the, you know, the S15, which just doesn't seem to be competitive at all, which I'd absolutely love to get a decent build going with it, but I just don't think I will. I just can't see it ever being viable. It just seems like everything is either, you know, like the Sileighty, the S13s. So again, I do apologise if my voice is just all over the place today. Yeah, still under the weather, so Hopefully my voice clears up soon, because making videos has been a real pain recently. So I'm going to assume JM's going to just disappear into the distance. So first race of the day, it'll be interesting to see if I can keep anywhere near my usual pace. I feel like it always takes me a good few races to just get warmed up in the morning and kind of see where we're at. But it's always good when you see, you know, familiar faces and stuff. When you've raced with them before during the week and you see them again, and obviously if they're a clean driver, then you know you're in pretty good hands. I think I'm just more worried that I don't absolutely just ram myself into the back of him. And that would be kind of my main thing for this. So I'm just going to take it gently on the outlap, to be quite honest. Suzuka's a bit of a pain to get any overtaking done. Ooh, his rear end's looking a bit twitchy today. Jeez, that thing is so unstable. It's all good. It's just kind of the way we have to run this race, to be quite honest. I'm not going to take any silly moves or any silly races. I'm quite happy to just sit behind him, to be honest, while I just kind of get into the groove for today and kind of see where we're at. Oh, a little too early on the turn there. So I'm just going to follow him around, see what he does. His car's looking a lot more... Oh, that grass there. Nothing worse at Suzuka than them. So his car's looking a lot more unstable than it was the other day. So I don't know what he's changed there. It's probably much quicker in kind of, you know, one lap pace. But yeah, I mean, JM's rear is just... it's all over the place. Now this is the corner that absolutely is a nightmare for me. I just cannot seem to get it right. And there we go again. Yeah, pretty much drifting out. You're pretty much playing Ridge Racer through there. Let's see what goes through here. Get it up on the curbs. Try and gently get the power down. Okay, luckily we didn't have the kick. Sometimes when you drop off that curb, the car will just kind of kick itself and you'll lose all your momentum. Oh, he's going to go over there. I'm hoping I can clear him, because there's nothing worse than trying to get two cars into this first corner. So I'm just going to have to give him that one there. Try and caught it. So I mean, this is what I mean. I've raced with JM a couple of times over this week. Really respectful driver. You know, he's fast, but you know, he's still got the respect there. And it's usually just a case of me and him, you know, cruising around at the front. But I'd love to know what he's actually done to the car, because that seems a lot more unstable than it did the other day. There we go. So sometimes if I accelerate out there in first gear, it'll just absolutely spin the rears up. If that's going to be a cut, if that's going to be just right. way off through there. Oh, okay, so there we go. That's what I mean by the kick. If you kind of get yourself up on the curb or coming off it at the wrong angle, the rear end is going to absolutely just throw itself out, and it's not pleasant when it does it because it really upsets you all the way down the straight. Car just absolutely moving about constantly. It's horrendous. I feel like the main part of this, daily race is just finding where you can put your power down without completely, kicking the rear end out. Because as soon as you get even a slight bit of the rear out, that's it. Your tire's being absolutely nerfed. Try and get a nice smooth kick of the rear out. There we go. Ridge racer yet again. Both getting a kick. That's still getting it. So because all these cars and the fastest ones are pretty much really unstable, you don't want to really be taking too many risks in terms of your moves. So the last thing I want to do is, take him out, and there's a risk of if I'm too close and I get a little bit of a twitch on the power, like, he did coming out of there. But obviously if I absolutely, wallop him and take him out, it's not really what you want. So, I mean, with how Suzuka's laid out as well, it just can be extremely difficult to get any overtaking done. Oh, we got a bit of a slip there. To go out and come back in, there we go. Whoa. So yeah, this is what I mean. Okay, that's looking like it. Yeah, so we both made a mistake around that lap. Yeah, he's got the drive through there. That was a poor line through there. Okay, no, he's going really well. Both getting the flick there. Almost thought he was going to get the rear up on the grass there. At that point, there's just no getting this thing back around. So I'm just going to brake nice early. So we've got the power down, but we're probably going to get the slide again. Yeah, there it goes. Thought that was going to be in his rear bumper then. That's what I mean. As soon as these cars get unstable, it can be a nightmare. Right, there we go. See if we get the run on him out of here. Power down. Probably going to have to back out this one, yeah. Just to let him go. There's no way. I mean, with how this car handles as well, there's no way we're going too wide through there. It looks like we've got the better drive this time. Don't come over like that, mate. Okay. He's gonna. That's probably going to be a cut. That's a shame. That's probably our race done there. Okay, there's no need to brake there. Really? So he slowed himself down and then braked again. I mean, come on, mate. And that's going to be on the grass. Seen that one coming. So I might just go for the fastest lap now. Jesus, 2.5 seconds on that lap. But that's what we wanted. So we've got the back of him again, but I don't think we're going to be able to get anything done. So the last thing I want to do is catch him by the end of the straight, because if he breaks up too early, I'll catch it. Is he going to get the driver out? Oh, okay, we managed to get that one put. It's a bit scrappy, but to be honest, the whole race was a little bit scrappy. It is what it is. Not a bad win, to be quite honest. A little bit late on the move. These things happen. My bad. But I think that's the problem with Suzuka as well. Like, even on the straights, the fact that obviously the corners that come up after them are just an absolute nightmare. You don't want to be going, you know, side by side, and you see it all the time. Like when I'm running my league races, I did one at Suzuka last year, and there was a couple of guys trying to go side by side into turn one. It was on the short circuit, and yeah, it ended up in disaster. Suzuka's a very difficult track to get any overtakes done. I'm assuming that if you had a decent build and you started at the back, you'd be able to make a ton of positions up. But that seems to be because people are, you know, still getting used to these cars. They are the most unstable, horrific cars, to be quite honest. So that was a bit of an unexpected win. Maybe not in the circumstances I would have wanted to take it, but yeah, it is what it is. I think that must be like the 4th, 5th race I've done with JM this week. But his build seems to have got a lot more unstable than what it was. Oh, look, a 4-star roulette. That's not surprising. Jamming. Well done, JM. Always puts up a good fight. Always great to race with him. Need a new controller. Get yourself one, mate. In fact, to be fair, in terms of controller, especially with the twitchy cars, if you get some stick extenders for them, I do find that they actually do help you, and you can kind of like run it around the top of the sort of like rim, so the circle bit that they put them in. Oh, hi JM. Yeah, well done. Nice racing with you again, mate. Always great to race with you. I was quite happy to see you because you're a familiar face. Yeah, I think that's like the 4th, 5th race we've had where we're just always side by side. It's crazy. Great racing with you, mate. But I do find, like, in terms of controllers, especially with twitchy cars, and I used to do it a lot at Tokyo when I used to grind a lot of events there, just like putting stick extenders on, kind of like the mid-height ones, and rolling it around the top does give you a really nice angle. I mean, it completely goes against the kind of whole left to right thing of controller, but I do find, like, especially with twitchy cars and the haptic feedback on a PS5 controller, it's really not too bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nothing on my wheel. Personally, I run a T300 RS, but it does help. It does kind of, you know, improve how it feels on controller. So I do recommend, like, if any of you maybe don't have the money to put into a wheel or just not interested in running a wheel, get yourself some stick extenders. I use Control Freak ones, the Galaxies, and to be honest, it will probably just improve the smoothness of your inputs on controller, at least anyway. And I think they're like, you know, I think you can get them for like £16. I think I've gone through about 3 or 4 pairs in 3 years, 4 years. So they do last ages. Eventually they will kind of like wear off. Like the grip on it will be gone, and sometimes they like come off the actual extension bit. But they are very, very good. They're much more comfortable than the like the thumbsticks on the actual PS5 controller. Personally, I cannot use the PlayStation 5 controller without them now. But in terms of racing games, if you get like the mid-height ones, the ones I use are Galaxies, so you get a really long one and you get a mid-tier one. So just put the mid one on, roll it around the top, and it just gives you that kind of bit of extra control over your input. You don't have to put as aggressive angles in, and it's just more precise. So I do find those work. So that's just a quick thing for anyone that might just run controller all the time, especially with the twitchy cars. For me, wheels always the way to go. It's just smoother. But living crisis and stuff like that, it's not always possible. So I don't know if I fancy entering another one. Do I? Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Jay, I really wasn't expecting to even do the move. I didn't think I'd even be at, alongside you at that point, and I just saw a gap and I went for it. You know, um, I was hoping the car would get stopped a bit quicker than that. Um, that's kind of, I mean, I don't know if it's just a dirty air or anything like that, but it seems to really affect these unstable cars. Like when you're running directly behind each other, like especially there was a couple of times where I was running with you down the street. I was like, I've got to back out of this. I'm not getting alongside him or anything like that at the corners. They're just too tight, and with how unstable these cars are, they're not great to. They're not great for kind of running side by side through corners, especially because it just twitches. They twitch all the time, so they're not the cleanest ones. So what I'm going to do, I will enter this one. I'm just going to go and get a drink. So just give me a couple of minutes, and then I'll be back chatting, answering questions and stuff like that. Okay, let's have a look. 42nd. Not bad. I still feel like there's plenty of attempts to shave off, to be quite honest. It's just trying to get around the lap without spinning it. I mean, I'm still hoping to get the wheel set up at some point during this week, but whilst I'm still under the weather, I just don't want to go to the effort of just having to get everything set up and ready. And adjusting myself back to wheel. Because I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but when I go from controller to wheel, when I put a ton of time in on a car on say wheel, then I go and use it on controller, it just feels horrendous, and vice versa. Too much adjusting, to be quite honest. So I do apologise for that. I had to take a quick phone call. Yeah, so I am back. Luckily the race didn't start. That was my main worry, that the race would get underway and I'd just be there on the grid and I'd be that guy that's inactive and basically just takes everyone else out. So yeah, nice one. So (10.625) on PS4 controller, X and square for accelerator and brake, running auto. That's old school, that. It's like Gran Turismo 2 on the PlayStation 1. Speaking of Gran Turismo 2, I did finally get it properly set up for my PC, which was nice. I was quite happy about that. Since emulation's a good thing, to be quite honest, especially for older games. Currently trying to get the James back again. Hello. Currently trying to get Gran Turismo 1 running. But I mean, Gran Turismo 2 was always kind of that game for me, so yeah, happy to get that one set up for me. Yeah, I'll see you at the end. Hopefully, hopefully we can keep the cars nice and stable. So I do apologise if there's anything that goes off during the race. It's just these cars, they're unpredictable. You can only predict them so much. Oh dear. Nah, I haven't got room for a CRT in all honesty. I'm good, mate. How are you? Nah, to be honest, I mean, the good thing about doing it on PC as well, you can kind of upscale it, and it looks how you actually remember it to how it actually looked. So, yeah, I do find that was an issue. I tried again a few years back, and it just looked horrendous. But at least kind of on the PC side of things, you can get it, you know, it keeps the original graphics and stuff, but it's not so kind of, you know, blocky and, you know, horrific looking. It, you know, it does look okay. I mean, it looks nice, to be honest. I actually really like the way Gran Turismo 2 looked. I remember they overdid the reflections on it as well, so everything looked like it had gloss on it all the time. So that S13's looking. Is that an S13? Or is it a Sileighty? Oh, it's Sileighty. Again, just try and take it nice and steady through there. So if I'm sniffing a lot, I do apologise. My voice sounds weird. I, again, apologise. I'm just not 100% still. I don't know what it is. It's been about a week and a half, and I'm just getting worse, especially at night and in the morning. I'll kind of pick up through the day, as usual. Good old virus for you, innit? Okay, that's definitely a cut, yeah. We'll try and get back in the groove again, man. That looks a lot more stable. Bit of a power delay there. Scan lines, yeah. I mean, it's funny you mention it. That was terrible. Not concentrating enough. It's funny you do mention that because Grid Legends just recently got a update with, well, its final DLC and such, and the pack previous to the last DLC was basically a throwback one, so it kind of took you through all the old Toka touring car driver games, and one of the filters, so the 2002 one, which is to kind of represent the same HUD as like the original Toka touring car driver and all that, literally looks bright yellow. And it's funny because I just remember kind of, you know, that era looking very yellowish, and then we had sort of the browny grey drab era of kind of like the, you know, the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era, where everything was all serious and moody looking and grey and brown, and yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. You can kind of add them on to anything now as well, which I think just looks absolutely, you know, hilarious. Slipped out there. The racing so silent. It weirdly is. Like, I know it's kind of all on edge and a bit messy and a bit, you know, the cars don't really make sense. But it's oddly satisfying to just throw them around. It almost feels like Ridge Racer at points, where you're just kind of going full-blown drifting sideways through a corner at like 1,000 miles an hour. It's just hilarious. Like that. Does anyone even remember Ridge Racer? I feel like it's just me that really has a thing for that series. Ridge Racer Type 4 or RR4 or whatever it was. Absolutely amazing game on the PlayStation 1. If I remember rightly, Pac-Man was one of the cars as well. Sorry about that. Always got it on the green. There's nothing worse than that when you just catch that, you know, the green on the side of the track. That's it. It just almost kind of takes you with it. And it's difficult to get yourself back out. We did that last race. used to love those games. I remember, like, I don't know why, maybe it was just me, but if anybody remembers the original Colin McRae Rally on the PlayStation 1, I used to get really eerie feelings from that, and it was mainly when you used to go to the, was it like the license or the test centre? And I think it was a Skoda Fabia or something like that, or Felicia, whatever it is. The rally version. I don't know why, I think it was just because it was so, like, grey and drab. It used to give me really creepy vibes, like when I was younger. Obviously it sounds ridiculous, but yeah, it used to really kind of creep me out. But I used to play a lot of that game, loved it. I remember the Greece stage, I think it was, being all kind of like sandy and blocky, and yeah, it was absolutely amazing. If I remember rightly, the opening stage of like your championship cream or whatever it was New Zealand, and it was all muddy and used to get mud on the windscreen, and I mean at the time it looked amazing, but I mean probably going back now it looks like a blocky mess, but you know, it was a fun time. Loved that game. Colin McRae Rally 2, played a bit of it, didn't play as much. I used to play V-Rally as well. Again, that was another game that was just very difficult at the time. I think in America it was called like Need for Speed V-Rally. But I mean, that's an old game for the PlayStation. I think like 1996, 97 it got released. Oh dear. I mean, one game that I used to play a lot of, and I remember I originally got it on a demo disc, was Hogs of War, if anyone remembers that game. Like, it was a bit like Worms. In fact, I'm pretty sure it may have been the same company. Infragrain Games, someone like that. That was awesome. I used to love that game. I think that came out in like 2000, right at the end of the PlayStation 1's life. It was kind of like a hidden gem. I feel like most people have never heard of it, but essentially just like Worms with 3D pigs. I just love that game. Hilarious. The voice acting in it was absolutely amazing. And when the pig used to get like killed or whatever, and you got rid of the enemy. Oh, we're on the green. There we go. They used to leave like kind of like smoking pixelated boots around. It was just so funny. I tried to get it back on PC through Steam. Downloaded it and I just couldn't get it running. I was gutted. But someone's trying to remaster that. I think from like Sheffield Hallam University. It's been going on for a couple of years. I think it's called like Hogs of War, not remastered, something like that. But supposedly they still have like multiplayer competitions with it, and from like a bit of a hidden gem from the from the year 2000 on the PlayStation 1 and stuff like that. It's just incredible to see games like that still getting support, even when you think like that may have been lost to time, and to find out they're not, it's just awesome. Another game series I'd love to see return, Time Splitters. I don't know if anyone remembers that. I used to always play the China map, where it was like kind of set in a Chinese restaurant, but it had the outside bit as well, the little Chinese gardens and stuff. Used to love that. Future Perfect as well, that was a good one. And 2. Plenty of hours sunk into them, alongside the likes of Gran Turismo 3, Gran Turismo 4 at the time. Ridge Racer type bit, Ridge Racer 5, early PlayStation 1 release. Just play a lot of that. I just can't seem to get the pace today. I don't know what's changed. slow down enough. Through here. Even my personal best seems completely off the pace that I had yesterday and the day before. Oh, that one didn't catch right. Way out wide there. I find through there it's just probably the most horrific of all the corners, if I'm quite honest. Like, that's where I'm losing most of. We've got a yellow flag out. So there we are. Great. Yellow flag's gone. I mean, honestly, instead of just parking up there, why don't you just leave? You see, I've never understood that. I get if you're having a bad race, yeah, it's going to be frustrating and stuff, but don't quit. I mean, last week I had a bunch of... I tried to get into Daily Race C on the Monday, and I kept having a bunch of disconnects, and it plummeted my driver rating into oblivion. So when I finally did get going again, the lobbies were just horrendous. So I'd recommend just don't quit, because I'm just going to assume that does the same thing in terms of your driver rating. Because it only takes a couple of times for you to quit before you end up in the death lobbies, and they're not a pleasant place to be. I think everybody's been in them at some point. So finish up this lap, and then I'll be able to go in the chat and just see what you guys have been saying. I mean, I can see the chat now, but I'm in full concentration mode. There we go. So we got it this time without going all the way out wide. JM on the wing. I just did not have the pace in that race. Dreadful, to be quite honest, in terms of pace. Oh, yeah. Do I remember a game called Revolt? Yes, the one with the RC cars, and it used to be a bit like, from what I remember, a bit like Mario Kart but with RC, but obviously not as crazy. Yes, I remember that game. PlayStation 2, I believe. It used to come in like a little black case, so obviously like when some of the older PlayStation 2 games were released, they came in a black case. Pretty sure that's the one, in it, Revolt. There was also something Rumble. What was it called? It was made by EA. It was just absolutely Micro Machines. Yeah, I remember Micro Machines. I'm just trying to think what the Rumble Racing. Did anyone play that one? I feel like, again, that's a game that nobody really remembers or knows, but it was just absolutely amazing. It was made by EA when EA were actually, you know, I'm not saying it. Yeah, it was when they kind of used to try a lot of different things. I feel like that's the thing as well. Like these days, we don't really have many companies that are willing to try different things. I think in terms of racing games, they're either open world or they're just going for complete realism. I feel like there needs to be more games like the Burnout series and that coming back, and you know, things like that. So I think I miss the creativity of some of these older racing games. As much as I love the likes of Gran Turismo and, you know, Forza, ACC and all that stuff, they're great games, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I just find myself wanting that just random bit of fun. Yeah, Burnout was incredible. They remade 2018. They remade Paradise, and I absolutely loved it. Played it to death. But I mean, it was pretty much when I'd done everything. It was just a shame because, you know, it just left me wanting more. And they've not brought a new entry out since Paradise, really. I mean, I get the 2018 one, but it was just it was a remaster at the end of the day. It was nothing that we hadn't already seen. Like, I am still craving for a new Burnout. But there was an article that said, you know, Criterion, obviously they're working on the latest Need for Speed, aren't they? That they said that they're open to bringing Burnout back, which I'd love to see. I'd love to see Burnout back. I feel like online, modern day, that would just be incredible. Like, I feel like there's definitely a market for it. And again, it's just one of those big names that just kind of faded away, which I think is just a massive shame. Yeah, I think I was quite afraid of the open world side of Burnout because all the originals were kind of like, you know, a bit like a checklist, but it did work. It was actually a really good kind of, you know, open playground, and I used to love that. To unlock the cars, you used to have to like chase down the opponent and take them out on the street. So you'd just be kind of cruising around, and the next thing you know, you just see this pickup just fly past, and then you've got to chase him down and wreck him. And then obviously when the car got into your scrapyard, it was all like wrecked up, and you had to go and drive it through a repair station, and then you'd have it in like perfect condition and stuff every time you went back and used it. So it was a huge amount of fun. So I've got 8 minutes to the next one. I mean, I know it sounds really lazy of me, but I'm really not bothered about improving my qualifying time. Not today, anyway. I might do tomorrow. If I get time in the morning, I'll do another stream. I'm just a bit gutted that I woke up feeling so rough because I had this whole plan for like a couple of weeks. I was like, okay, February 1st, I've got some time there. I can go ahead and get a stream started, you know, get everything set up properly. And I just woke up this morning, I was like, yeah, I feel too run down to be able to do that. So Yeah, sadly, it's a bit of a last minute thing. Not as professional looking as I wanted it to be, but you know, is what it is. One thing I've noticed as well is that seems to be a lack of people actually streaming Gran Turismo on Twitch compared to YouTube anyway. So you see a lot of people on YouTube doing it, but like you go over to Twitch and just like the viewer base in there, it's kind of strange. I wonder how far I've dropped down there. I think that yeah. So that lap time I set, when I set it, I think it was like 21st, and since then it's just gone down. So it's looking like the Sileighty is completely dominating at this point. Yeah, I mean top 14's all the same car. You got an S13 in there, and then again it's just Sileighty's 180 SX. So the fastest 180 is 26th in the world. So it's not looking too good for that car. Sileighty S13 and then just Sileighty in it. Yeah. See that? I mean that's ridiculous. The fact that they've not put it in the used car store yet is a bit of a shame, to be honest. So you can see the guys that I'd probably just given it a once over and then be like, nah, I'm not doing that. Not sure why you're awake at 4:20 a.m. Happens to me all the time, mate. I'm always waking up through the night, and then I'm up early as well. There's nothing worse. I always find myself kind of have those nights where I'll just wake up and then I feel like it's maybe like 7, 8 in the morning. I'm like, yeah, I'll get up for today. I look at my clock and I'm like, it's 2, 3 a.m. But I've got all the energy in the world. But then I make the mistake of like going back to sleep and then I wake up more tired than I was, which is just, yeah, is what it is. Just enter myself into that. Just make sure we get in. If you can hear the wind, by the way, I do apologise. It's just really windy the last couple of days. It's absolutely terrible. I mean, you can hear it wherever you are. And it's really annoying. I mean, it's funny because it's not even really that cold outside. Maybe it is. Doesn't feel that cold, though. So I definitely feel like there's some improvements to be made on this Sileighty. But I think it's just about finding them. I may play around with this build. I'd see the thing is, I feel like I've got a decent enough build that I'm used to it, and I don't want to go too much a different way because then I feel like I'll just kind of lose, you know, the muscle memory in terms of it. I feel like I'm kind of getting that down because I've just ran it so many times. So what's everyone's plans today? Yeah, last time I tried that, I got passed on the last king. Yeah, it is weird. I mean, you kind of get the muscle memory going with like with one car and how you've got it set up, and then you start getting it down, and then you change it up even slightly, and then all of a sudden everything changes. Sometimes it's good though. Sometimes it works in your favour. It's just getting used to it. And I feel like, although it sounds really, really silly, I feel like the slidey builds are probably the best for this track. I think if you can catch the slides right, you can get the angles right and such, you could probably be very, very quick. I mean, this car, it's slidey enough for me. It's just constantly stepping out, and then it's all kind of in the throttle and trying to get it to just twitch back the other way. If you overdo it, though, you know about it because you end up in the barrier. I don't think I've done that yet. I think the furthest, the biggest mess up I've done in terms of this car, I think once I just put it in the gravel. Still haven't hit the barrier yet, which is a good thing. Sometimes I find myself in the barrier, but not so far. And now I've said that, I probably will. Okay, that wind's really annoying. So let's just go into the time trial. You got laid off yesterday. Yeah, trust me, mate. It's not fun. In fact, getting laid off was the whole reason I started doing YouTube, just to pass time. Started last January. Then Gran Turismo came out and I thought, do you know what, I'm gonna knuckle down. You know, I thought, yeah, played enough Gran Turismo over the years. Maybe this is my thing. It just kind of took off from there, to be quite honest. Nothing worse than being laid off. It was funny because the reason it was both me and my partner worked at the same place, and we both got laid off because we took a week off because she had a miscarriage. We were both kind of down in the dumps. Went in for a well-being meeting, and then that was it. It was like, yeah, we're gonna have to let you go. I thought, okay, so I've took a single week off after all these years of working for your company, and they're just happy to just let me go like that, both of us as well. So yeah, Christmas 2021 wasn't a pleasant time. I think it was like December 13th as well, so right before Christmas. Yeah, it was a bit of a downer. It took me ages to get back on my feet, but got there eventually. So I'm sure you'll get yourself back on your feet, mate. It's the best thing you can do. I mean, I just remember like feeling completely empty when they were like, yeah, we're gonna have to let you go. I was like, oh, what now? So it's not pleasant at all. I do sympathise with you there. Let's see what happens this time. GM's back again. Anyone else we know? Anyone I recognise? Joker, he was in last time. The other guys, I don't know if I've raced with any of them. Stag 42. I think I recognise him. Or Golf. Chamo looks familiar. Oh, the Norwegian guy. We've raced with him this morning. Was it last race or the race before? Maybe both. So it'd be interesting to see if we can pull anything off. Maybe I should have tried a Sileighty build. See if we can get anything going there. I honestly I have a hunch that is going to be the way to go. Like really, really slidey, really unstable, but a bullet in a straight line. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the Evo 10 swap. Yeah, best way to think, mate. New opportunity. I wish I'd have seen it like that when I got laid off. I think at the time it was just a shock to the system. It was just unexpected, and I just didn't have anything else planned. Yeah, so the Evo 10 swap, that's the one with the Pikes Peak engine in it. Still waiting for it. Hasn't happened yet. Probably never will. Unless they open up the engine swap store and let us buy them. It's got to be the way to go. It just seems weird, like it's completely luck-based. And there's nothing fun in relying on just complete RNG and luck to get what should essentially be a key component of the game. As well as having like price tags I think the 787B engine's like a mil, but yeah, you can't buy it. And if you sell a car with a 787B engine in, it goes for nowhere near a mil. So ridiculous. Surely they've got to be doing that soon. And JF, whoa, okay. Did not expect that. He's going to be caught up in the pack now. There's nothing worse than that. Especially when you've got a bunch of people running unstable, twitchy builds. Getting caught in the pack is probably the worst thing. I'm sure he'll come up again then. Where's he dropped to 5th? He'll make that up. See if we can try and get a bit of a lead going here. Did I tweet this tune at all? From yesterday's version, no, I don't think I did. So I think this is the exact same version I uploaded yesterday. I feel like I've kind of currently hit a brick wall with it, and if I change it too much, I risk kind of losing where I was at. And the fact that it can take 15-20 minutes to get the aero to glitch up, it's not always the most pleasant thing. So I'm pretty happy with this build so far. I might play around with it maybe later, maybe tomorrow, but I don't want to kind of risk having to, I don't want to risk breaking the build and then, not having a feeling for it, or it just being overall worse. Because I uploaded a V1 and a V2, so the version 1 build was very, very stable, but very, very slow in a straight line, and it was very frustrating because whilst I could make 2-3 seconds up in the midsection, as soon as I got on the straight, anything I built up, it was just completely gone, because everything else around me was just quicker. Obviously Suzuka's not the best for overtaking, but there's only so much you can defend, especially on the main straight where it's quite open, I was just finding there, I was just getting absolutely just laid out, that was it. I just didn't stand a chance. So, no, I've not tweeted with it. I did try the 180 SX this morning, but I just couldn't get a feel for it. Usually, if I'm going to gel with a car, within the first couple of minutes I can usually tell how it's going to be. But it was just too floaty at the rear. Bit too early on the turn in there. RPMs up to third now. Hopefully the pack's spread out a bit, so he'll make his way back up. So this is one that's always catching me out. It's a nightmare. I absolutely hate it. Just want to see if we can get it right this time. No, didn't catch it, so we're still just drifting out sideways. That's too much of a cut. Gotta be. So yeah, we need to try and get that last bit right. Bad angle through this, slipped out completely. Yeah, there we go, sideways. That's what I mean, like earlier when I was saying, if you sometimes you'll get a nice power kick coming out of there. It's not pleasant. going to be the best angle. We've got a decent bit of drive out of there. Right, this is where I need to get consistent with what I do. So I found the best way, slam it to fourth, drift it out and catch it. Not bad. That's more like the pace I usually have. Too much power loss on the curb there. Through there. There we go, that's more like I wanted it to do. Drift. Down 310. Yeah, doesn't surprise me considering the angle we had for a couple of those corners there. I got a feeling that's a caught. Definitely want to see if the slider bill will work. We've got that on the grass, that's not going to stop. I think it'll be interesting to see if it'll work. bad. Not bad. Shame what happened to JM on the first corner. I feel like if he'd obviously kept it on the track, we'd probably had a good battle through there. I think we both started finding a bit more pace as the morning's gone on. I predict the Sileighty will win. Yeah, sadly it's usually the case. GGJ. See, for me, it's just always been a problem with GT, sport mode. Is once a meta car's in, they're usually very difficult to beat. Whether it be a kind of the Group 4 GTR, the Alpha 155, the Mazda back in the day, they pretty much all end up as one-mate races, and I'm sure if the Sileighty was available to buy, you'd see a lot more of them. You'd probably see the likes of like the S13, the S15s and stuff just not be taking part. So, which is a shame, to be honest. I think there's definitely some BOP or whatever. Just needs to be some balancing across the board. Obviously this one isn't BOP'd. I think that's probably why we're seeing a lot more spread. So I get that obviously BOP brings cars together, but you just end up with one standout car, and then the majority of people, bar maybe a couple, will usually go for the meta because it's just the way to go, which is a shame. But it's always been like that, really. Although I did feel like in terms of GT Sport, in the sport mode there was a lot more viable cars. Maybe that's just me, but I noticed that the grids were a lot more kind of differentiated. There wasn't just kind of one standout car, whereas I feel like in GT7, once a meta car's there, everybody just gravitates towards it. So it is what it is. So yeah, not bad. Another win. What's that, 2 now? More than I expected. So, my plan. What I might do one more race, jump off stream for a bit, get my uploads ready for today, and then I might stream again later for a little bit. Because I'm enjoying streaming. Although I'm not 100% and just didn't get a chance to get everything set up this morning. It's nice just to do something a bit more relaxed than having to sit in front of a computer editing constantly. Especially when we're between updates. I mean, it's been the longest time between updates. So hopefully the next one is a decent update, and then we get some more we get back to the norm in terms of when they come and when they don't and stuff. Yeah, the Dior is sold out, yeah. So I was supposed to make just a little video on that one because finally it's gone. So for the last couple of days it's been on low limited stock or whatever it is, and I believe when I checked this morning it was completely gone. So yeah, it's finally gone. So hopefully things like the Escudo and the Ford Roadster can come back in. I mean, that Escudo thing is just ridiculous. The fact that it's not come in the store since July is just the most bizarre thing. I don't get why they didn't bother putting that in. It's just really strange. I mean, even with the Dior there, they go through the cars enough to be able to kind of put it in. It's just almost as if they want to keep it as this ultra rare car, but it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's a game at the end of the day. As realistic as they want to be with car prices and such, just don't try and make cars ultra rare by just putting them in maybe once a year, because let's be honest, not everybody might not get a chance that once every 6 months to jump in and go and get the car. I mean, me personally, I was supposed to pick up a second F40, but because life took over, I missed my chance to buy it. So when I did get on, literally that day it had just sold out. I was like, oh, I really wanted a second one of them because I wanted to try the Enzo engine swap, and to be quite honest, I don't want to put it in my original F40. Yeah, good riddance. Yeah, I felt like it definitely outstayed its welcome. Bear in mind, it was like It was such a weird thing. Like I get they did the whole thing maybe even I think it was like a month or two before saying that they'd done a collab. Then the car came out, and then I expected it to maybe just be around for a month tops, um, as like a limited thing. So like making it ultra rare or whatever. Um, but then it just stayed around forever. So I'm pretty sure everybody's got one. It never ticked off as an actual collectible car, if I remember rightly. It just seemed very weird. Can you even sell that car? That's one thing I'd actually like to know. That's one thing I've never checked. Is can you actually sell the Dior car? I'm assuming you can, but is it even worth any more than like the normal Mangusta or whatever it is? That's what I'd be interested in. I've never even checked, to be honest. But I'd be pretty interested in seeing that. I mean, it was cool and all. Like it was a special edition car, but it definitely outstayed its welcome. It should not have stayed around as long as it did. I mean, didn't that come in like August? Maybe even before that. August, September, possibly before. And then we've had the Suzuki Escudo. See that? I know I've just mentioned it, but that's the weirdest one for me. Obviously, it came out at release. Yeah, like 40k. Sounds about right. Um, obviously, Escudo came out at release with Watkins Glen, the Ford Roadster, and such. It came into the game, it hung around, and it left, but it very quickly came back again. It wasn't even in a normal cycle. I don't believe anyway. It didn't seem like it. It just seemed like it appeared again very quickly. But then as soon as it was gone, it's just never come back. It's like, what is the deal with that one? Like, have they have they lost the rights to it? Have they lost the license to it? Like, just what's going on with that car? Like, there's got to be something, surely. Like, there's no excuse for it not appearing. Same with the Ford Roadster. Like, that's been out for a while now. I used to feel like I used to see that one all the time, but now it's just never appeared in the longest time. I think the best thing they could do is increase the slots. Because there's been some weeks where I've gone and looked at the Legends dealer and all the slots will be full to like with like 20 million cars, and that's just not what I want at all. I look at them and I think, I mean, seriously, there's nothing else to buy. We'll have to get Suzuki to manufacture a few more. Yeah, yeah. They only made five of these, so that's all we're selling. Nobody else can have one. We're never putting it back in the game. It does seem weird though, because like, I mean, there was a lot of hype around that car. It's been in Gran Turismo for ages. It's always been that car. Everybody associates it with Gran Turismo. Um, and then just to kind of put it in twice really quickly and then just never see it again. That's it. We put it in the trailer. It was the kind of main car for that trailer with Watkins Glen. You're never having it again. Gone. It's never coming back. I feel like that's what they're doing. Same with the Ford Roadster. But in all honesty, it's a pointless car anyway. I get it's one for the collection, but I've never got on with it. Even like with the engine swap and stuff. Like, I believe it's got an engine swap. Yeah, never been my cup of tea. For me, it's a great cruising car, but that's about it. Anything else, it's just pointless. I like a lot of the cars, but that could easily be solved if Polyphony decide to, open up the custom events and give them a decent payout. That way we can just do what we want. I mean, I'm absolutely dying to do like a 4 hour Tsukuba, like in the old Gran Turismo games with the Mazdas. Obviously, we got a 1 hour version, but Yeah, when they used to do the 4 hour versions, that was absolutely awesome. I mean, I get to a lot of people that'd probably be really boring, just throwing Mazda MX-5s and Roadsters around or whatever. Um, but for me, I've just got tons of memories with that. And there was the what was it? I think it was like, was it 6 hours Suzuka or 8 hours? That one. I remember that one. That was good. I mean, for me, in terms of endurance races, GT5 is just still to this day unbeaten. I remember Gran Turismo 6 came out and we got all the 24-hour races scaled down to like 24 minutes. Yeah, that wasn't too fun. Yeah, there's been a couple of games with 24-hour races. If I remember, that started with Gran Turismo 3. I'm sure 3, 4, and 5 have the 24-hour in. And it was at Le Mans, if I remember. Or was it Nürburgring? There's one of them. I think there was the B spec one in GT5, that was at Le Mans, and I'm pretty sure the A spec one in GT5 was also at Le Mans. 24-hour race. Absolutely awesome. I mean, I do have a feeling these days there's some kind of regulations that you can't have a race that long, because obviously you hear, especially in Asia, a lot of people in these gaming cafes do like 24, 48 hours straight of gaming and then have a heart attack. I've seen plenty of videos on them, so I've got a feeling, especially with polyphony being obviously out that way, that they can't really do that to some, because it's probably some rule or regulation, because it does seem weird that it never, I don't think it's came back since GT5. Yeah, when you used to have to keep your PlayStation on. I hope nobody turned it off. Yeah, I remember those days. Yeah, it was great. I do miss B-Spec though. I feel like there's definitely a market. You hear a lot of people these days saying, I want B-Spec. So hopefully Polyphony listens and adds a B-Spec. But I think in terms of, all these cafe menus and the events and stuff, it seems to be a very slow trickle compared to GT Sport. If I remember rightly, within a couple of months in GT Sport, they had all the leagues there. So there's like 4 leagues, there was like beginner endurance and all that lot. And then they just added to it. Like there was almost like a big dump of content, and then they slowly added to it from there, where they haven't done it with that. 200, nearly 300k for that. I don't think I'll sell mine, to be honest. I'm a collector, so. The only cars I usually sell are duplicates. If I've already got maybe like 3 different builds of a car and I get a 4th one, I'll probably be like, nah, I'll sell that one then. But I like building different versions of the same car and getting them all. Oh dear. Right, so this will be my last race for the day. Well, not for the day. You might still see me jumping in and out, but the last race of this stream, I'll try and get a stream going a bit later on as well for the guys that might not be awake yet and such, because I've actually really enjoyed it. And then hopefully in a couple of weeks' time I can get everything set up when I'm feeling better properly and get a proper stream on the go. And we're on pole. Okay, I did not expect that one. Quick drink and away we go. See, one thing Gran Turismo always got right was the countdown. It's awesome. Like, they've never changed it. And I absolutely love it. I don't know, any of you guys seen the Gran Turismo movie trailer? Absolutely love that they kept the proper original countdown in it. Like, that just gave me goosebumps. Like, just hearing that nostalgic countdown sound. Love it. Legendary. Ooh, big kick off the curve there. Hello, hello. So I'm going to be doing some custom lobby hosting soon. I usually try and get a couple of lobbies hosted a week where I'll custom race for my subscribers, my league racers, and we do kind of like endurance races and such. So may do another one either tonight or tomorrow. I feel like I finally got that corner down. Are you built for joining the league if there's any room? So what I've had to do recently, because I had a lot of interest in it, I've obviously got the main league which I show on the channel and stuff, but we do have now a guy that is helping me run a B league. So that's mainly for people that, you know, have reserve and standing drivers that sometimes come into the main league, but they will get their own full league as well. So there is room. It might not necessarily always be on track with like myself or the regulars, but there is a championship starting up on the Saturday. So we do race this weekend on the Sunday for my league, and the guy that's hosting our reserve and standing league, he's doing it on the Saturday for everyone else. So there is room. The best way, to be quite honest, is Discord. We do have a dedicated section to both the leagues in there. So it's basically just to give everyone a fair chance to race in a league, race maybe with people that they can, you know, maybe make friends with. And I do find that if you get used to racing with people regular, the racing is much cleaner than what can happen sometimes in, say, sport mode, where you're up against a bunch of randoms. You kind of learn to race each other, and obviously you can have a good bit of fun, championship points, stuff like that. So what I'll do, once this stream's done, in the description I'll post up the Discord and stuff, and there'll be a link in there where you can just follow it and jump in. If you don't have Discord, the other easiest way is just message me on PlayStation, and then from there I can get you put in the right bit. And there's a couple of guys that help me out, so it might not always be me. Personally, my inbox, especially on PlayStation and such, gets absolutely flooded each day, so a lot of the time I miss messages. It's difficult to keep track of them, so it might be one of the other guys that I get to kind of just, you know, sort everything out. But the best place is Discord. It's a lot easier to keep track of that. I mean, a lot of the guys I used to race with online now, I met through subscriber lobbies, Discord, stuff like that. And I pretty much race with them at least, you know, usually every other day. sort of time. That's better. Green flags out here, so has someone gone off? Or was that someone behind that might have gone off? That one in time. And we were much quicker. It's a shame. Try and go for it again the next lap. Not as big as gap as I'd like. I've had a couple of 10-15 second gaps, so it seems like people are starting to get it together in terms of the builds and stuff as the week goes on, which is expected. That's more like it. Absolutely nuke our time. There's such an awkward knack to the way you have to take that corner to get it right and carry your speed through, and it's just not happening for us this morning, or this afternoon, whatever it is now. Yeah, quicker, but letting herself down in that last couple of corners there. Right, let's see if we can get it right this time. No, it just kicked out a little bit too much. We're into the 11s. One more lap, let's see if we can absolutely smash it on the last lap. I don't think. Bogged down. See if we can make it. No, oh, that massively kicked out. Oh dear. It's a shame, it's a shame. I mean, yesterday I was setting like in the 210s at one point, like high 210s. Even in race today, I'm struggling to even get in the 11s. But nice one. There we go. What's that? 3 wins from 4 races. Not too bad. Yeah, no problem, mate. I'll try and get a stream going later on as well. Well, that'll be the last one for this morning anyway, or early afternoon, what it is now. Been nice though, been enjoyable, not bad. Few good wins. I think I dropped the ball really on the second race we did. That wasn't really how I wanted that race. So yeah, thanks for everyone for joining. Thanks for chatting to me and keeping me company this morning. Been fun. And then when we do get out of this lobby, I'll end the stream. I'll say my goodbyes then. Yeah, not bad. Not too bad. So yeah, I'm going to try and get another stream up maybe a little bit later tonight. Might be a bit of a late night stream. Just chill out, do some races again. It's been fun. Get a video up later and all, I'm sure. See a little bit. Job done. Nice one. So 3 wins out of 4. Not bad. Not too bad at all. Exit this bit. Yeah, so I'll put the Discord link. It might be another hour or so, but I'll get all the descriptions set up, and I'll post the Discord link in there for you, mate. So just keep checking back on this video, and then yeah, it should appear at some point. Also depends, like I'm sure it'll show up instantly. once I've done it. But yeah, I'd say probably give it an hour, check back, and it should be in the description, the Discord link. And then if you look at the two sections, there'll be a League One and a reserve one. So you can be able to join. If you just put a message in the reserve one, I'll send a guy over that's doing that one, and he'll get you going. And yeah, hopefully I'll do maybe a custom lobby tomorrow or tonight, and we'll kind of see how you drive if you're on. But yeah, thank you so much. That's going to be it for this stream. I'll get another one set up later on because I did actually enjoy it, so it was quite fun. Yeah, thank you so much for keeping me company, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers, guys. Peace.